We are back. I'm Garry Glenn. Hall County Sports is the show. For this particular segment, we're going to bring to the show a little bit of a unique perspective. Not a coach, not an athlete, but someone who is intimately involved with the games that people play. And this is David Edmondson, who is a pastor, Covenant Connections Church. But David, we're not going to talk to you about that because I know you're deeply involved in that and your Christian ministry and so forth. But also, folks, David is a basketball official. And that's something that is a unique calling and something that is necessary. And I know it's something, David, that the officials associations all over this state and probably the country are always trying to find. Absolutely. I mean, they're recruiting people. We've had football officials on before, and they get on. They say, "Look, please call us if you're interested in doing this." So, number one, how did you get connected in being a basketball official, and how would you recommend other people get involved in this? Because you got to have them.
Absolutely, and we have. The funny thing is, our association, GMOA, Georgia Mountain Officials Association, we have been ranked as the top association in the state of Georgia for 8 years in a row.
Good.
And Doc Sisk, he handles all of our booking and our training and everything. So I'm very proud to be a part of Georgia Mountain Officials Association. Doc Sisk is an incredible mentor. I've been officiating. I just got my 15-year plaque this year, so I'm in my 16th year. So I started very young at the age of 21, and way back when the Chesley Watsons and Antoine Welchels and stuff and the Causey boys were around in Hall County, I kind of grew up with them. So, but if anybody out there is interested in officiating, you can get a hold of Georgia Mountain Officials Association, Doc Sisk, and we'd love to have you. We have some great training, and even if you've never officiated before, we'll train you and start you from the beginning and get you up to the top.
So what did you do in high school? What kind of athlete were you? What sports did you do?
I played baseball, and I actually wrestled in high school.
So how did you become a basketball official?
Well, I've always loved basketball. I just was kind of not tall enough, I guess you could say, and had a lot of aggression, and so I went to wrestling. You know, I had to get that aggression out.
There you
go. But once I got out of high school, I immediately went into officiating basketball. And when I first started officiating basketball, just really went into doing NCAA and started going into the college type deal, and then I began to pastor a church, and I had a son the same year. So that took away all the, you know, so I just really focused on high school, and I absolutely really enjoyed doing it.
David, one of the things, and it seems to be maybe part and parcel of some of the way that we have gone in our society, but the crowds seem to be louder, and you talked about being aggressive. They're more aggressive. They really get on the officials, and they holler at them, yell at them. Sometimes it gets a little obscene. So how do you handle that? Is it something, I guess you just can't take it personally. You have to realize maybe they're just cheering for their team, but you know, sometimes you guys do get it right too.
Well, you're always going to, you know, pastoring and officiating, they go hand in hand.
Really?
You're always going to make, half of the people are going to think you're wrong and half of the people are going to think you're right. It's just according to which one gets the benefit of the call. But you know, Glenn, the funny thing is, I've got the opportunity to call. I've called in 6 semifinal, state final weekends in my career, and that's, you know, down in Macon and stuff like that, and you have a lot of great crowds and everything. But the funny thing is, here in Hall County especially, the fans, it's like almost every game is a state tournament game. When you have North Hall, East Hall, and East Hall, Gainesville, and West Hall and North Hall, it's great competition. A lot of fans. We love our basketball in Hall County,
and most of the fans appear to be pretty knowledgeable about it too.
Oh, they know more than the officials do. I mean, you know, it's funny, but they're very knowledgeable. But then again, you know, it's funny because you have rules, kind of like backcourt. You know, everybody thinks they know the rule of backcourt, and so if somebody's straddling the line and they bring their foot back across half court, everybody will start screaming, "Oh, that's backcourt," and you don't even know the rules. And the fact is, you have to have the ball and both feet across half court before you can have a backcourt violation. But, you know, things like that people think they know and they really don't know. And it's also I laugh at people a lot of times because they think that we do not necessarily see contact or whatever. And what we try to do is we try to allow the players to dictate the game. If there's a little bit of contact here and the player plays through it, well, we want them to be able to play through it. Nobody paid to see us officiate a ball game.
You don't want to be part of the action, really.
We don't want anybody to know we're in the building. If people know we're in the building, then we're probably not doing that good of a job. And so we try to let the players play through some of that contact and stuff. And here's another misconception, is that we think that we get it right every time. When we go into halftime or we go in between quarters and we talk, a lot of times we'll talk and we'll say, now what did you see on that play? And we realize, you know, I probably missed that one. And a lot of times if you're out there and you see us officials talking to coaches and things like that, there are some times that we're saying to the coach, you know, Coach, you're probably right on that one. I probably, you know, I might have missed that one or
and when they say something to you, say you need to watch that, do you watch that?
Absolutely. One thing that separates good officials and great officials and not so good officials is actually not necessarily making calls, but it's game management. Handling the coaches, handling the players, and this and that. And that's what separates a great official. I'll give you for instance, one of your buddies, I know I've seen him on the show, Coach Joe Dix at East Hall. I was at East Hall a few years ago, and I just blew a call. I mean, I really anticipated a block charge, and it didn't happen the way I anticipated it, and I came out with a block, and it was a charge. It went against Coach Dix, and of course, you know, he's pretty flamboyant, and he gets all excited, stomping his foot, and so I report the foul, and I could have stayed away from him, but I didn't. I walked down, and there was a timeout, and I said, Coach, I blew it. I blew the call. And I said, and you've got 20 seconds to let me know that I blew the call. And after that 20 seconds, we're done. But you got 20 seconds. And for 20 seconds, he let me have it pretty good. But after that 20 seconds, I said, all right, Coach, that's 20 seconds. He goes, I appreciate it. And do you know we went the rest of the game and had no problem. But if I would have avoided him and I would have got the big head and I don't miss anything, and you know, you do have some officials that are kind of like that, I guess, you know, that, you know, they never make a mistake or whatever. If I would have been like that, we would have had some issues. You know, somebody might have got a technical foul. It might not have been good. But for me to go over as an official to a coach and allow them to ask me questions, allow them to disagree with me and say, you know what, Coach, I see your point, that handles a lot of stuff. Now, I can't do that with every fan out there, right, you know, but the fact is we understand that we miss calls. You know, that's going to happen. Every basketball player doesn't make every shot. We're not going to make every call exactly right, but we train, we read the rules, we keep up to date on what we need to try to be the best officials that we can. And this area, I'm glad to say, again, has the top-ranked association in the state 8 years in a row.
All right. David, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Keep up the good. I know it's a thankless job in some ways, and you don't do it for the money.
That's right.
Right. No. But we need you, so stay after it. All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. David Edmondson. We'll have more Hall County sports for you right after this.